Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another silly car build. My vehicle today is the Maserati Birdcage. Very small, very light, and certainly has potential for an awful lot of power. The question is, will it be able to deal with all of this power when we take it around a rather wet Brands Hatch circuit? You see, the engine that we're going to be using in this, the standard engine, and it is great and everything, but we can put in the 4.5 litre V8, the Ferrari 458 engine. That is a lot of power available. It's only slightly heavier. It's only about 100 pounds heavier than the car's standard engine. So the power to weight ratio is going to be immense. The Lancia that we are putting this up against, sort of comparative time-wise, the Lancia was 400 horsepower, 1,700 pounds. This is going to have, well, we're going to be getting on for twice the horsepower of the Lancia, and, well, 300 pounds lighter possibly by the time we're finished with it. So, yeah, Jesus, that's 40 PI. Hold on, I have never seen a car 40 PI difference with that. That is impressive amount of PI. I mean, yeah, the rear wing is going to be incredibly important on this car. As I said, power to weight ratio is going to be ludicrous on this Maserati. The real question is it going to be controllable at all? Because, two 2.5s on the rear. That's not good. That's not good for, I think if I remember correctly, this engine can get about 900 horsepower in it. Through very, very small tyres on a very, very wet track. We could have some oversteer. We might have a lot of oversteer. Now, I have built a silly version of one of these before. I drove it on Forza 5. I had a silly Maserati, and it was a very, very difficult car to drive. However, of course, the driving physics between 5 and 6 are different. In general, cars have got less twitchy. Also, that's curious. The race brakes actually add weight. Now, I'm used to seeing the brakes take off a fair amount of weight. That's the first time I've ever seen them add weight. Sorry, okay. We have pretty much exactly the same on the suspension. I'm guessing, yeah, we're not going to have any weight reduction options on this, as it is, well, a tiny, tiny race car. All right, let's go through with these. The roll cage will add a little bit of weight, but it's not going to be very much because, yeah, in fact, it's 20 pounds. That's it. So we're going to come out at under 1,500 pounds, maybe under 1,400, depends on how much the exhaust will take out with the weight-wise. All right, PI-wise as well, we are ahead of the Lancia. The Lancia was right at the very top of S-Class, I believe. So we are going to be slightly higher up in PI with this, but we were with the Challenger, and that wins about 3 seconds slower due to some couldn't really deal with its power, basically, some handling issues. I don't think we're quite going to get under the 1,400 pound mark with this, but yeah, it's going to be ludicrously light, incredibly powerful. Is this the car then that most of the horsepower comes from? We haven't done turbos yet. That's where the power is going to come from. Yeah, I love how 121 horsepower is doing 8 PI's difference, and the rear wing did 40. That tells you a lot about why I have concerns with this car. Oh, this is going to be fun. This might be just the most stupidest vehicle I have driven. A 54 horsepower from the intercooler. Yeah, okay, let's jump the weight up a little bit with that. Yet I am very, very scared of this Maserati. In fact, 1,500 pounds exactly. 300 pounds lighter than the Lancia, well over twice the horsepower, over twice the torque as well. Could be fast, likely to be very, very scary. So, here we are at the rather soggy Brands Hatch circuit, ready for, just about ready at least, for our 6 laps with the Maserati Birdcage. The target time set by the Lancia race car was a 49.8. Can the Maserati beat that? I'm not sure. I think the bigger question is, can I keep the Maserati pointing in the correct direction? That is probably going to be the big issue with this car. There is much wheel spin. We're still... Yeah, we can put that in 5th, and it will still Yeah, it's going to spin its wheels quite a lot, I would imagine. Oh, God, got a little bit twitchy on the way down there. We'll get it stopped for turn 2. There's a puddle on the inside of the course, and there's a very, very big slide from the from the car. Yeah, this is quite a crazy thing to drive. I'm not sure I'm actually going to be able. Can we get you to full? No. Can we get? No, we still can't get it to full throttle in 4th gear. That's a slight problematic. We've got a little bit of understeer creeping in through there, but that's kind of the least of my issues, really. Right now, it is trying to balance the throttle control. Of course, I need to be able to put some power down if I want to get the car going forward in a quick direction, but we can't keep spinning the wheels up. I might have to go resort to short shifting. We're going to run wide onto the grass. We're going to fight that one big time, trying to get it all back together again. Okay, the Maserati is a bit of a pain in the arse. Okay, no, bad idea. Let's not hit the curb on the inside. There's always the risk. It's a wet circuit. Hitting a curb a little bit too hard can cause cars to go on 2 wheels, and in the rain you are much more likely to roll them. I wasn't expecting the Birdcage to be one of the vehicles to have that particular issue, but yeah, it seems if we hit that turn 1 a bit too hard, we may potentially see the Birdcage on its roof, so that is something to be aware of. Bloody hell, I just cannot actually get to full throttle. Every time I do, we're just spinning the wheels, and of course we keep doing that, we're going to end up aquaplaning and having all sorts of issues with this car. So yeah, I don't actually know if there is a point in this circuit where I can go to full throttle with the Maserati. Even if we short shift it to 5th here, can I go to full throttle safely? No. The second I'm going up towards full throttle, it's just spinning those rear wheels. Oh, for God's sake. This is really not an easy car to drive at all. I keep thinking I'm braking too early into turn 1, and then I remember what I'm driving, and by then it's too late, and I've already tried to correct myself and we're going off. So we got to pretty much brake at the start line, or well, just after the start-finish line with this car, because it's much better to be neat through this turn 1 section. I keep running a little too wide, so I will rather sort it out and be a little neat. Still bursting into wheel spin coming down this back straight, and then we've got this relatively quick change of direction through here to be aware of. Definitely keeping it in 3rd is the best idea around this part of the track. We're going to have a little bit of a slide. Yeah, we're still sliding out of this final corner. Can we make the most of this little bit of a straight? I think we can. I mean, it's as quick as the Challenger Hellcat. We're at about 150 miles an hour there. I was, yeah, again, I might have been a little early on the brakes, but I've actually got it controlled through turn 1 at last. So, screw that, I will take it, and then we're immediately slipping and sliding our way. The throttle is just a sideways button in this car. It's just, do you want to completely and utterly lose control of the rear end? Yes, stamp on the throttle then. There is just no control from the back of this car. Right, here we go. Let's try and make the most. Again, I'm trying to make the most of the phenomenal acceleration and straight line speed available in the Maserati. You just can't deploy the power in this thing. I mean, it's only a couple of hundred, probably less than 200 horsepower down on the Challenger Hellcat. The tyres on this thing are tiny. There's so little weight as well. Really does not take much to get this thing spinning its wheels and going sideways. Well, this lap time here, though, might be pretty decent from the Birdcage. Indeed it is. It's a very quick lap time from the Birdcage, and it's immediately going to be thrown into the gravel. Oh dear, trying to judge the braking for that first corner is so difficult. It's so easy. It's so easy to stamp on the brakes too hard, lock everything up, and then you're not going to stop, or to not get on the brakes hard enough, and then you're not going to stop either. You would kind of expect this to perhaps be a little bit better under braking than the Dodge. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of less weight to get stopped in this vehicle. Oh, we're going to play on the grass over here. It's a bad place to find ourselves with the Birdcage. Okay, can we go any quicker? Can we get this into the 51s? Maybe. It would be a real push. It would be a real push to get the Birdcage down to that sort of a lap time. We're going to give it a damn good shot, though, as we leave the final corner. I should probably have it in 3rd. Now we're going to spin the wheels up. I got to full throttle very briefly, and it was a dumb idea, because the second I did, we lost all control of the car. So, yeah, full throttle is basically useless in this. We're only using about 80% throttle. No, curb! Ah! I can't do anything about that. There is nothing I can do when you hit the curb. That's just spat the car straight in the tyre bundle. Admittedly, there was a very, very quick lap in there. The Birdcage is, well, as you can imagine, really quite difficult to drive around here. I will be honest, this is not quite as ridiculous as I feared it might be from my experience of the car in Forza 5, considering, of course, we're dealing with a lot wetter conditions, or dealing with a lot tougher conditions, I should say. A lot less grip is available in this, and the Maserati is, it's a little more predictable, this car, than the Forza 5 one. It is a little bit more predictable, I mean, considering the amount of power we've got going through the rear wheels of this car. There we go. Full throttle, and all you're going to do is slide your way around a lap. Yeah, that was me being a bit silly with it, and yeah, it's going to slide lovely with such tiny tyres at the back. Then we'll go for a celebratory donut down the hill, shall we? Yeah, this Birdcage is an insane thing to try and keep under control with such tiny tyres, so little in the way of grip, and so much power being delivered in these kind of conditions on a circuit such as this. Yeah, pretty tough to drive, but a 52.3 puts it quicker than the Hellcat. It does go quicker than the Challenger. We're still a way down on the Lancia. Sorry, that's not a massive surprise given the issues with this car. But yeah, that's not 53. It's not too bad a lap time for this crazy machine. Now it is time though to see how quick this car will go in a straight line. That, of course, means taking the car to Le Mans. I'm expecting Maserati to be pretty quick. This thing is, yeah, I would think we could get some pretty decent top speed out of this car. Not quite as much power as we got in the Challenger. No, it reckons 240 miles an hour. But it is a much better aerodynamic shape, so we'll dump off the aero there. What are we going to be reckoning? 245 miles an hour. Now, can we do anything more with gearing? Gearing looks pretty decent to begin with, about 246 perhaps. The couple of issues that I do foresee with this car, potentially, we may have some control issues. With travelling at this speed on tiny tyres and with such a light vehicle, the bumps down the straight, they could cause some problems for the Birdcage. But it's, yeah, we haven't had massive problems with cars, ridiculous cars on the bumps down here before. I don't think it's going to cause too many issues for this. We've got race tyres on the car. They might be small race tyres. I mean, when we saw the C-Class cars trying to hit 200 miles an hour, like, they had some serious issues on the bumps and so on, but they were still on standard tyres and the suspension on the most part. So, yeah, I suspect that this might not be too bad. There is still, though, there's little potential, a little scare. It's driving quite nicely through these first few corners, although admittedly still very slidey. Right, we've got to be careful of the bump there. There's a horrible bump that can throw cars around in a circle, but has not done anything too mean to the Maserati. So now we shall unleash all of the power down here. It's already up to 220 miles an hour before we even got to the first chicane. It is quicker than the Challenger. Already, we're quicker than the Challenger. We're at 240 miles an hour in the Birdcage. 243, come on, we've got to get about 3 more. You can see we're losing a little bit of speed as we're bumping across these, but it's okay. We've got control still of the car. It is going a little bit floaty across these bumps, but we've still just about got the control there. Still a little, yeah, it is a little floaty. Got to get a big wheelie. Oh, this is not going to end particularly well. Oh, okay, no, we're on the brakes now, because that's going to go around in a circle. Brake. Oh, please keep it out of the wall. No, we're not going to keep it out of the wall. Ah. That was one of the yeah, that's also another fear. Okay, the bumps at the end of the straight got it. It's never good when you're approaching that. Oh, apparently my controller has also... Well, I mean, if you're going to turn off controller, that was kind of a good time to go there. Yeah, that's is never a good thing coming towards that corner at the end of the straight with the car doing a wheelie. And as it went around the corner, I got it back under control for the turn, but it was already... asking too much of the suspension, so as it went round the corner, it was, yeah, pretty much at the limit of what it can do and we just ran out of grip. In the end, the bumps a little bit too much, perhaps, for the Birdcage for that corner and for the speed that it was taking. I mean, 244 miles an hour in a car that's 1,500 pounds, and you hit a big bump. Yeah, that's going to be some airtime for the vehicle. I love this car because it is absolutely balmy with this amount of speed, this amount of power, and such little weight and really little grip. Absolutely balmy car. Incredibly tough to drive. Very, very quick when you can have, the space, the length of straight to run it up to its top speed. Just, yeah, really quite a handful to keep it all under control. But that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.